natumia Samsung. Napenda kutumia Samsung, so kwa sababu laptop yangu ni MacBook, lakini kwa laptop napata nikitumia Mac, huwa napata ni rahisi sana kutumia, kwa sababu tuseme mambo mengi kama ikikuja ni kufanya kazi, if it comes to productivity, Mac inakuwa tu vizuri, haina wadudu wengi, virusi like viruses, haina virusi vingi and wadudu like bugs, so unapata inakuwa vizuri pia, kufanya kazi inakuwa vizuri, haina marekebisho mengi, and pia Mac inakuwa rahisi, kama ikiharibika inajulikana shida zake, if it's not like maji yameingia, so a lot of problems are known when it comes to Mac, si kama Windows. Lakini kwa simu hapa Kenya nilikuwa na iPhone, lakini napata hapa Kenya inakuwa rahisi kutumia Samsung, kwa sababu kama Samsung ikiharibika inakuwa rahisi kutengezewa, lakini pia Samsung ni bei rahisi. It's a little bit cheap kununua, kwa sababu kama nahitaji kununua iPhone ni bei ghali, so at least tuseme iPhone, tuseme hata kama si mbali sana, kama iPhone 13, 14, unapata nahitaji kama $500 ama 450, ambayo ni bei ghali sana. Lakini kwa hiyo pesa naweza nikapata Samsung mbili nzuri, hata S22 ama A53, A70, ambayo ina mwaka mmoja ama miaka miwili nyuma kidogo from like wakati ambao ilitolewa. So like let's say I buy a flagship that is 2 years or 1 year old, napata almost bei nusu yake ama a quarter of the price. So hiyo ndio maana napenda kununua Samsung. So yes. Yes.
Okay.
That's right. Yes.
So you said, did you say I have other options? I have a laptop.
No. I'm saying like
you're talking about buying and the price of an iPhone versus an old Samsung. But I asked you, what are you using now? But you didn't answer that, or maybe I didn't say it right.
Yes, you did not say right. So it gave me like the connotation of you're asking me what do I like to use, you know? So I can say that like on my side sina simu, so I don't have a cell phone, so I'm literally mteja. Yeah, so mtu akipiga hapa Kenya, so kwa me they are, samahani, mteja wa nambari unayotafuta patikani kwa sasa. Yes, that is like my tone now, my new tone for the last 3 days. Yes, which is sad, but
okay.
Yes.
Teknolojia ni riziki yake, right?
Yes.
It's your livelihood, ¿verdad? Right?
Yes. Kama mimi nahitaji teknolojia, hata kama kwa mfano nikienda likizo sihitaji simu, like if I go on holiday. So kama December nilienda nikabwaga simu, so natafuta simu ambayo siweki SIM card pale ndani, so siweki kadi, tunasema card, like the SIM card. So natoa kadi, nachukua simu ambayo ina kadi, kwa sababu napenda kusikiliza muziki sana. Lakini kwa kazi mara nyingi unapata kama kampuni ambayo nafanya kazi nao, so the company that I work with, si lazima niende kule ofisini, so unapata mara nyingi wananiandikia ujumbe kwenye WhatsApp ama wananipigia kwenye maybe Zoom ama Google Meet, ambayo nachukulia sana kwenye simu mahali popote nipo. So wherever I am, so you find technology ni muhimu sana kwangu ili niweze kufanya kazi. Halafu pia nafundisha madarasa mengi ambayo najitolea kufundisha, so unapata pia nahitaji teknolojia sana. Yes. Yes, so ambayo it's very sad kwangu, so kwa sababu nitahitaji pesa nyingi sana ambazo sina, kwa sasa kazi yangu inaisha, so hata walimu kwenye chuo, so the contract is lapsing, kwa sababu kulingana na contract ambayo nilikuwa nimepatiwa ili niweze kusoma na niweze kupunguza ada ya shule, like the school fee. So nikifundisha, pesa ambazo nilikuwa nalipwa zinaenda kwenye chuo, so kupunguza ile ada. So it goes and offsets like my school tuition, like my university tuition. So I was not given like cash. So that's why I was teaching in the university. So it's like a program because yes. So then pesa zingine natafuta mwenyewe, nalipia huku. So yeah, so kwangu naweza sema kwa sasa sina pesa. Najaribu kutafuta kazi, lakini pia inakuwa ngumu kidogo ama inachukua muda. So kwa sasa sina pesa zozote, so nina huzuni, sijui nitoe pesa wapi. Na pia kwa simu siwezi nikanunua simu yoyote. So kwa mfano hapa kwetu tuna Tecno, tuna Infinix ambazo unaweza kapatiwa hata kwa 10,000, 12,000, lakini hizi simu zinashinda moja unapata baada ya miezi 6 inaharibika. So it just goes dead. So ndio maana napenda kununua, hata kama ni ununue simu bei ghali kidogo, si ghali sana, lakini bei ghali kidogo kama 20,000, 25,000, simu nzuri ambayo unajua itakupeleka miaka 2 au miaka 3. Yes. Yes. Yeah. So hayo ndio masaibu yangu. Masaibu, you know masaibu. Masaibu means like those are like my problems and challenges kwa sasa, masaibu yangu. Yes. Lakini nimejaribu WhatsApp yangu, niko na WhatsApp kwenye computer, ndio maana naweza bado endelea kuongea na watu, so I can still continue talking with people, but I don't know for how long, because WhatsApp ya computer eventually inahitaji simu ndio iweze kusync the data back kwa cloud. So like the WhatsApp on the computer, it's independent-ish, but still it needs to sync with the phone every other 1 week or 2 weeks. Yes. So sijui yani muda gani, so I don't know for how long.
So Marina, unaelewa?
Today we are talking a lot of Swahili.
Yes, you are.
Yes. But on like a very funny, let me tell you, a very interesting note, I have started another class ambayo nafundisha watu. I'm teaching Swahili speakers. It's a class that I was already doing physically when I was in Tanzania. Swahili speakers, I'm volunteering it. They are not paying me nothing. So Swahili speakers to English, I'm teaching them. And one of my students, he speaks very good Swahili, of course, because he is from Tanzania. And I've been communicating with them. And I want to start a class with them. So we have already done a couple of them. But maybe from Thursday and maybe every other Tuesday, they'll be joining us. So hawaongei Kiingereza kingi, but the objective is to get you guys to talk Swahili, because they are native Swahili speakers and they don't speak, Kiingereza. So yes, so for you, it's like to put you up to speed with everything.
And for them, because then they can try English too.
No, in their class now. You can come to their class and speak English. Yes, only English, for them to try to keep up. So for them, when they come here, they'll try to make you keep up with Swahili. But when it's their turn in their class, you come and speak only English and make them keep up with everything in English now. Yes.
That might be useful. That would be good for us too. Yeah.
Yeah, so tunajaribu tuangalie ratiba mwafaka. So ratiba means like a schedule or timetable. So tunajaribu tuangalie ratiba. So the class nimekuwa nikifanya Jumamosi sana. You remember kitambo kidogo we ended like a Saturday class. So tunajaribu tuangalie tulegeze like a regular schedule. So hata kama ni Jumamosi, we just know tuna hiyo darasa ambayo ni ya kufundisha watu Kiingereza, but wenye Kiswahili So welcome there.
Wanaamka.
We don't care. Most people are trying to, English with it. Yeah. So they are, yes. So
Wanaamka lini.
Bado wako majira ya Afrika Mashariki. So kuamka, it's like to get up. You ask wanaamka.
Start.
Wanaanza lini?
Anza, not amka. Anza.
Okay. So wanaanza, so we are starting like kwa sababu tushaanza, let's say tulianza kwenye WhatsApp. So we have been doing small meetups, irregular meetups on WhatsApp, like where you do a WhatsApp call and you just speak with them. So we want to create a proper schedule and a very good thing, like the way we have goals, like here in like darasa, that grammar, ambaro tuko na goals, we can talk about different things. So sasa, we want to have it every other Saturday, then we can, schedule it regularly, and we know every Saturday we have the Come Rain, Come Sunshine, we have that class, or we have somebody hosting, so even if I'm not there, the class is still continuing. So that is what we want to do, and everybody knows that. So it's like Swahili speakers learning English, yes. Every Saturday, yes. Yes, huo ndio mpango wangu. Yes. Yeah. Ambalo ni darasa nzuri kabisa. So nadhani tutapatia watu wengi uzoefu. Uzoefu means like getting used, like exposure kwenye lugha. So uzoefu, like yes, getting used to like the language. Kiingereza kwa wale wako Kiswahili. Yes. Yes. Kwa sababu nina kama wawili vile wanatoka Tanzania, halafu mmoja yuatoka Burundi. Burundi wanaongea Kifaransa, Kirundi na Kiswahili. Ndio maana tunatumia Kiswahili. Halafu wa Tanzania wanaongea Kiswahili na labda wana lugha za kwao vile ambayo mtu anaongea. Halafu skuli walisoma kwa Kiingereza. So in the school they studied in English. So not that they are in total darkness, but ikikuja kwa kuzungumza, so the speaking kidogo wanashindwa kuzungumza vizuri. So they are not used to like speaking. They always speak Swahili, so they need to practice. Even huyu wa Burundi, even for him, he knows a little bit of English, but he needs to practice to speak and get fluency. So they are not like total beginners, but they need to understand different concepts in the language. So they are like A2 in course, so like A2 speakers in English. Lakini wanahitaji kujifundisha na kupata ule ufasaha. Like,
lakini unasoma Kifaransa in Burundi.
Kifaransa, Burundi wanaongea Kifaransa. Burundi, DRC Congo na Rwanda kitambo. Although Rwanda walibadilisha mfumo, they changed the system miaka ya 2000. So they changed the system from a French system to an English system. So unapata watoto wachanga wanaongea Kiingereza, lakini mama zao na wazee wanaongea Kifaransa. So yes. Maybe so. Although Rwanda it's a little bit complicated because they changed the system. But ukipata mtoto yote wadogo au kwenye barabara wanaongea Kiingereza vizuri. Lakini ukipata mama yake kama ni mzee kidogo anaongea Kifaransa. Yes. But Burundi ni Kifaransa too. Yes. Lot of French system. Yeah. How is the Swahili? A lot of Swahili.
Yeah. Ninafahamu
maneno. Yes.
Maneno. I get the gist of what you're saying, but I don't get all the words. But anyway.
Yes. Nimekuwa ni hata watu hawajaweza kupatikana. So kama wewe uliniambia unajitayarisha kwenda kufanya upasuaji na mambo mengine. So pia Jed mwenyewe yuko vizuri vile. So sijafanya darasa, nadhani darasa 3 sijazifanya. So wiki iliyopita so sijafanya darasa, na pia ile wiki nyingine sijafanya darasa. So I did not do 3 classes. So alafu nimekuwa kidogo pia hiyo wiki nimejaribu kusaidia wanafunzi kadhaa, kwa sababu pia nina rafiki yangu. So I have this friend ambaye anatoka Msumbiji, is Mozambique. So anaongea Kireno. Kireno is Portuguese.
Kireno is Portuguese?
Yes. Kireno. Yes, Kireno. Please. Like Kireno. Kireno. Yes. So Kireno, Portuguese. So anaongea Kireno kama lugha yake ya kwanza, na pia anaongea lugha za Kiafrika. Lakini tumepatana naye muda tu kidogo tu. So like amekuwa akijaribu kujifundisha Kiingereza. Kiingereza chake si kibaya, yuko kama kwenye kundi la B2 vile C1, anaongea vizuri. So tumekuwa tukisaidiana kuboresha Kiingereza chake. Alafu so naweza sema hivyo. So sasa nimekuwa hizo siku ambazo mkuja, so nimekuwa nikifanya darasa na wale sasa. Yeah, so I've been doing classes with them. So you might see new faces. So usishangae when you see them.
Okay.
Yeah.
So from Mozambique. Wanatoka Mozambique, kuongea Kireno na Kiswahili or
sio wote. Not everyone, sio wote. So not everyone. Kama wanatoka Maputo iko kusini. It's in the complete south, next to like the border of Eswatini in South Africa. So
they don't speak Kiswahili
in Zimbabwe, those people, they don't speak Swahili there, down there. So sawa. No. So but ukienda kaskazini in the north, okay, so like next to Malawi, Tanzania, the northern communities. So like that's around 35% of Mozambique in the northern area, like the whole country in the northern area, like the population, 35% speaks Swahili in the northern areas. So next to Malawi and Tanzania, they speak Swahili. But when you go to once the southern part, not many wanaongea.
So yeah. Malawi kuongea Chichewa.
Yes, pia wana Kiswahili. Kama ukienda pia kaskazini mwa Malawi, kaskazini mwa Zambia, so pia wanaongea Kiswahili vivyo. So they still speak Swahili. Yes. But ukienda kama Tuans, Lusaka, kwenye miji mikuu, kwenye miji unaweza pata pia watu wengine wanaongea Kiswahili, Kiingereza na Kireno, kwa sababu kuna usafiri kwenye hii sehemu, mabasi yanazunguka kwenye hii sehemu. So unapata haswa kwenye mabasi makuu, kwenye mabasi wanaongea lugha zote za Afrika kati na kusini. So wanaongea Kifaransa, wengine wanaongea Kireno, Kiswahili pia kwa wingi. So wengi wanapata wanaongea Kiswahili angalau ndio waweze kuongea na watu wote wa Afrika Mashariki ambao hawaongei Kiingereza ama hawaongei Kireno. So Kiswahili kinawaunganisha wote. So the Swahili combines everybody because wasafiri wengi wa Afrika Mashariki wengi wanaongea Kiswahili. So most of the travelers within Eastern Central Africa wanajua tu Kiswahili. They speak Swahili. They might speak French as their second language, or English as their second language, or Portuguese as their second language. But most of them, if they are traveling within Eastern Central Africa towards the Southern Africa, most of them, they will prefer to use Swahili because the Bantu languages, lugha za Kibantu, zinakaribiana sana na Kiswahili. So inakuwa rahisi kujifundisha hii lugha. So hata hiyo Chichewa ukiangalia ni Kibantu, kinafanana kabisa na Kiswahili. So even if somebody speaks that language, inakuwa rahisi kujifundisha Kiswahili. Yes. Do you understand? Ama naongea maneno mengi.
That the people in East Africa, the people who travel, that because they're all Bantu languages, that it's the trade language of the East, whereas in the West you have French, and the second languages are French and English, but Kiswahili's preferred.
Yes, it's so Swahili, it's always preferred within East and Central Africa towards the Southern Africa. Most of the people will prefer Swahili because, that is like the area where we have a Bantu majority. And with a Bantu majority, it means that regardless them speaking Portuguese or French or whatever language they speak, it becomes very easy for them to consider Swahili as their third language, even if they might not be very fluent in like that, but they are conversational in the language. Because when I went to most of the places like Tate in Mozambique, towards Tate, so you find that area, it's like not a big city, but it's a medium level city. You find that we have a lot of people in that area already speaking Swahili, then towards the north. But by the time you start getting towards the south, Maputo, you find a lot of people. They might not speak Swahili, but if you speak slowly to them because they're Bantu communities, somewhat makes sense to them. Like, for example, if you're trying to order food like this, you can tell them, nataka, kura, ugali. So you find that in their language, they speak something similar to that. And also you find, like, for example, ugali. So instead of using ugali, they use the word sima. You remember the word sima?
Sima.
Yes, yes. So sima, it's like a Bantu word, proper Bantu word. So now they call ugali is sima. So for me, who comes from Mombasa, it becomes very easy because if I tell them, nataka kula isima kwa nyama. So they understand, okay. He wants ugali and beef. Yes. Okay. So it becomes very easy, right? So you find that that connection becomes very easy. Yes.
So yes. What does sima means? What in Swahili? Sima is
sima. It's a synonym for ugali.
It's in Swahili too.
Yes, sima. It's a synonym for ugali. So in Swahili, proper Swahili, especially. Okay. Yes, so especially like the coast of Kenya, Swahili. So you find that we tell you sima, and also if you go to Tanzania, ukienda Tanzania kama Zanzibari, and area of like Dar es Salaam like this, they'll tell you sima. But by the time
I was in Malawi and it was called sima. It was the same thing called sima. Yes. I thought it was a different language altogether and not related.
No. Actually, I always tell people, once you get to learn Swahili very well, trust me, if you go to like Malawi or you go to Zambia or Mozambique, they'll be like, oh my God, you're like a genius. You understand our language. How do you know our language? No? And they are like, Muzungu, what do you know? But because
I hope I'll never get there.
Yeah. But by the virtue of you speaking Swahili, ukiongea Kiswahili, unapata tu uelewa wako wa other Bantu languages makes sense because the grammatical structures themselves, like the way we try to say, like the persons ni, na, ni, ne, the same structures. Of course, the words differ, but the structures will make sense for you. So they might have different prefix, like for like the persons, like for example, if you have met somebody from Kisii or Ruyas, because in Eldoret it's very easy to meet them. And if you meet like people like Kikuyu, just go and ask them, how do you tell somebody like I'm walking? So just ask them this kind of, like for example, if you know somebody called Kamau, Njoroge, Njeri, just go and ask them because even in workplace you have those kind of people. Just ask them. So who are you? Are you a Kikuyu? Are you a Kisii? Are you like, those are like Bantu. So just ask them for, for fun. So ask them, how do you say like, I'm walking, They'll tell you like in Swahili, it's Nina Tembe, right? So if you ask them like this, so you find that in Kiruya, it is Nina Tembera, like this, then in Kisii, it's something similar to that. So you it becomes like it clicks for you because you are able to differentiate in between the root of the verb and, you know, the prefixes. And because by the virtue of you speaking Swahili, and it makes sense to you, and you're like, okay. The root might be almost the same, like this for the verb, but the prefixes, they change a little bit within the different language, but the structure is almost the same. Yes. So, yes. Mawaidha yangu kwako. You know mawaidha? Mawaidha means like... Mawaidha means like my advice to you. Mawaidha. Mawaidha yangu kwako. Yes. Mawaidha. So in the chat, mawaidha. So advice. Advice. So advice. Mawaidha. So yes. And Marina, you are asking Kireno and Msumbiji. Kireno is Portuguese and Msumbiji means Mozambique. Yes. If you are still listening. Ama umepotea? Yes. Kireno means Portuguese and Msumbiji means the Mozambique itself. So Kireno, Portuguese, Msumbiji, like this. Yeah. So Afrika tuna mataifa. I think mataifa matano ambayo yanaongea Kireno. So I think we have 5 nations that speak Portuguese. I'm not sure. But najua tuna Mozambique. Yes, tuna Angola. Tuna Sao Tome.
Yeah.
Yes, Sao Tome and
Cape Verde.
Yes. Yes. Cape Verde. Then also we have Guinea-Bissau. I think that is 5. Kwa sababu Capo Branca, like Cape Branco. So like this, I think they speak Portuguese, not Portuguese, Spanish. They are closer to Spain. Yes.
And what, there's a country that speaks Spanish on the West Coast.
Yes, Equatorial Guinea. Yes, Equatorial Guinea.
Equatorial Guinea, yeah. Equatorial Guinea.
Yes. Equatorial Guinea is one of the only African-speaking nation because even Cape Branco, it's an overseas territory of, Spain, I think. Yes, and also with, how do we call this place? I'm forgetting the name of this. There's like, they are like overseas territories, like small patches, archipelagos. Yes, but they are like next to the African continent, but they are not really African. So almost
the
like
Canary Islands, or no?
Yes, also we have the Canary, and Canary is the UK, I think. I'm not sure.
It belongs to Spain, I think. No, I don't know.
Although Canary, they speak more English, British English. Not sure. Yes, but yes, I don't think Canary speaks Spanish. Although they are close to like So it's. I'm not sure, but we check maybe later. So Tangaria, but although I know that Cape Branco, so it's next to Capo Verde, but Capo Verde, Portuguese, Branco, they speaks Spanish. Yes. Yes. Yeah. It's always very interesting. So Mataifa. So let's say Mataifa Matano, main that speak Portuguese. So we have Guinea-Bissau. We have Sao Tome and Principe. They are in Sao Tome and Principe. It's off the coast of Equatorial Guinea in the ocean. Where think about where the Greenwich and the equator meet. So if you find that, so from UK, Greenwich and the equator, they meet in territory of Sao Tome and Principe. Yes, easy for you to find. Yes, for you now. Yes, so off the coast of Equatorial Guinea. So yeah, so they speak Portuguese. Then we have, of course, Angola and Mozambique. Yes. Yes. A little bit. I'm planning to teach people a little bit about African languages kwa sababu nimepata watu wengi wananiuliza maswali, not to be like rude, but tasema maswali ya kikumbafu. So kikumbafu means like, I know it sounds very rude, but it's like more of very useless question that would not make sense or they don't have basis. But I came to understand that watu wengi, by the time they get to middle school, even the new Kenyan system, unapata watu wengi hawajasoma kuhusu historia ulimwengu. So they have read about the history by middle school, the history of their maybe continent and their country. But beyond that, hawajasoma kuhusu the rest of the place. Even in the US, the same. So you find by the time you choose like the arts, by the time you get to like senior high school, you are choosing your art, your STEM subjects, like whatever you're choosing, and not everybody is going into the history and those kind of stuff. So the least they know, it's American history, even North American history, like Canada and Mexico, they might not know nothing so about that. And even the US history, not like very good. So even the same way, here in Africa, you find a lot of our kids in the middle school, they know a little bit about Kenya and Africa in general, but they might not know about the Asian or the European. So nataka nianze kufundisha watu. Yes, so maybe on the internet, post a little bit of videos, kwa sababu hii ni jambo ambalo ni la kusisimua, na unapata watu wengi wataweza kuelewa sana kuhusu lugha za Kiafrika. So, and how they are related. Yeah, so ambavyo lugha zinahusiana. So husiana means like how they are related, because yes, it's very interesting. Yes.
Okay. Okay.
Marina says Kireno is very straight for Portuguese. Yeah, lakini ni Kiswahili.
Yeah.
Yes.
Kireno, in Portuguese it would be Portuguese. Where does Kireno come from?
I have no idea. Because I have most of the other words. Are you there? So most of the other words, I'll say that they are borrowed from English themselves. Kwa sababu kama Kijerumani tunasema ni Kijerumani from the Germans. Kiingereza ni Uingereza, the country itself, which means English. Okay. Then you find that although even the country itself, like if we are talking about Portugal in Swahili, tunaita Ureno. So the country itself is Ureno. So the country. Right?
Portugal?
So, yes, Portugal, it's Ureno. So the country itself. So Uingereza, Ujerumani, Ufaransa, wanaongea Kifaransa. So the languages start with a key in Swahili. So meaning like this. So for example, we can say China or Uchina. Then the language is Kichina. Okay, then Korea ni Korea, but the language is Kikorea. So like this. So Kireno, it's more of the language. Then una part of the country itself, it's Ureno. All right. Then yeah. So Italy ni, yeah, although Italy ni Italia. So because it starts with vowel. So I think Italy will still remain Italy. Yeah. Yeah, it's always very interesting. Yeah, it's always very interesting because Swahili will say that when you come to think about Swahili, Kiswahili chenyewe ni among lugha changa kabisa hapa kwenye bara Afrika. So Swahili is one of the youngest language in like the African continent kwa sababu Kiswahili chenyewe kina karne karne kumi tu. So it's about 10 centuries old. So the Swahili, it's about less than 10 centuries old because most of the other African languages, they were already spoken in the continent. But coming to look at that, kwenye historia ya Kiswahili kimekuja kutengezwa kwa sababu ya mahusiano ya Waarabu na Waafrika. So like the connection of the Omani Arabs, okay? So they were trading a lot. So even in North Africa, they had a little bit of influence. But also you find that now the Arabs were the Persians, specifically the Persians, because of the ukiangalia historia, they went like, how do I say? Nasau jina yake. So the corridor, like that's from China, they go all the way to like the Ottoman Empire at that time, back in the day. So now they will come down to the Sinai, like from Sinai Peninsula all the way to the Arabian Peninsula, like Oman, modern day Oman and Yemen. But also because it's very near for them to like cross through that area, they'll come find boats, they cross, then they hug the African coast through Somalia, down, as they're hugging the coast, all the way down to Maputo. Then they trade, and when the winds change, they move along the coast and now hugging the African coast all the way to Oman and Yemen, modern day Yemen. So because it's very cross, so that is how it happens. So the contact between these people, you find that eventually, because Arabic was a little bit difficult for most of the people, and they needed to trade and people like this. So you find that the Arabs themselves, they learned a little bit of, like Bantu words, but also the Africans themselves along the coast, they learn a little bit of Arabic words. So eventually, the Arabs being Muslim, they are allowed to marry one wife or two wives, and because they were spending in the East African coast almost 6 months per year, per every season. So before the weeks get to change, and they return back to the Middle East, they intermarried with the locals, and eventually that is how we end the kids who are born of an Arab father and maybe African mom, or the vice versa. So they eventually like this, and we end like the Arabs, they were around to marry 4 wives. So maybe in the East Africa, the one and a wife in Mombasa, another one in Zanzibar, and another one in Mozambique down there in Maputo, and maybe another one, wife in Oman. So like this. So they have families almost everywhere. So eventually we end like the Swahili people. And also because of the trading, so the trades would go all the way to DRC Congo. And that's how you find that the goods that they brought on the coast, they were carried all the way through the jungles all the way to DRC Congo. And one thing that then also to spend of Swahili, you find that all this area has one thing in common, Bantu languages. So you find that as they continue speaking, and even the Arabs themselves, that they're going in with time, they find that, okay, we know a little bit of Bantu words, and we make them our language. So eventually, when we go and meet other people, we have relationship in the grammar structures, and eventually like this. And you find that before the English is there, so before the English people came, so Swahili also had a little bit of inefficiency. So most of the words that it was lacking, the difficult words, they were brought from Arabic. And in the 1600s, we end like first, actually not 1600s, 1400s, we end like Vasco da Gama, as the other guy, Christopher Columbus, was doing a thing in the America. So we end Vasco da Gama in the 1400s, comes to the East Africa. And this guy, that is how actually Swahili got a little bit of, Portuguese words also, because this guy was doing a little bit of trading. Then in the early 1800s, when the Europeans come now, like from like the England people, let's say French people and a lot of UK persons came in the early 1800s, and that is how we got the remainder of the words. And also Swahili, before that, it was being written in the Arabic script. And by the time now the Europeans are coming in the mid 1800s, they are picking up territories, they are trying to colonize Africa. They were like, okay, most of the East Africa people speak a lot of Swahili. So it's very easy for us to try to learn Swahili before we get to force them to speak like, because the Portuguese and Spaniards in the South America, they used a system called assimilado. So you find like this. So the British, they were like, I think the best approach you can take in East Africa is to try to standardize Swahili into the Latin, writing scripts from Arabic. And so it becomes easy for us to read on another side, but also it becomes a little bit easy for us to read it, but also getting the chiefs to help us in 1, 2, 3 things. Then from there, once the chiefs now we learn a little bit of English, we can teach the English to the chiefs, and eventually the ruling becomes easy. And by early 1900s, the Swahili had already changed to the Latin script that we know, the one that we are writing, and we say Swahilifying, the Swahili was Kuakifishwa. Kuakifishwa means like the standardization of Swahili. Eventually, it was all standardized, and the remaining word that it did not have, it borrowed a lot from English and other languages, even the Germans. So it borrowed a lot from that. And yeah, that is what we have, the modern Swahili. And unapata pia Kiswahili tuseme in the last 5 years before the pandemic, pia Kiswahili pia kimeweza kupanuka sana. So like the last 5 years, just before the pandemic and now after the pandemic, Swahili has gained of almost over 200 words that do not exactly exist.
Wow.
Yes, that do not exist in the language because you find every language has its inadequacies, but we found that we had new words. Like, for example, you find that words like relating to, corona, like the corona words, like the pandemic themselves. We had, of course, the word for pandemic, but you find that most of the words pertaining these kind of things, they did not exactly exist because in the African, we don't have pandemics, like we have never had like a big pandemic like this. Other languages like back in the day, we had like in the 15 and 1600s, the Europeans already had different plagues, bubonic plague and those kind of things. So those languages advanced in their language, like, and they got the new words in different languages. They borrowed it from French or German, and that's how you find even English itself has a little bit of Germanic word, French words, like this intermarrying between the languages. So for us, it was like one of those kind of deflationary time, even for us during the pandemic, because we gained a lot of words. And also, let's say in the last 20 years, Swahili also has been gaining more words gradually every year, probably one word, because technology has been changing. We do not have words to express that. So it has been very interesting in the language. So yes. So it's a little bit of an history lesson, but also very interesting kuja kufikiria masuala ya lugha. Yes. So that's why nadhani nafaa nifundisha watu mambo kama haya ambayo watu wengi unapata historia kama hii hawajaweza kufundishwa na pia hawajaweza kupata sana. Yes. Yeah. So any comment, anything about that, Marino, please? Ndasemaje?
Very interesting. Very interesting.
I think nafaa nianze kufundisha historia ya Afrika ikikuja lugha hata like without exactly speaking Swahili, not teaching Swahili. This is a Swahili like session. I think I need to start one of those sessions where I just come in here 30 minutes. I just give you a little bit of facts in like African languages based on true facts, a good PPT, and explain these kind of things, and they're always amusing. And that explains a lot kwa sababu unapata mambo mengi pia kwako, like some of the cultural shocks that you might get in the languages, they won't even amuse you because you'll be like, okay, makes sense why this is happening and why people are behaving like this, or why people are speaking a language that I understand because of this and this and that. Okay, makes sense. It's understandable. Yes. Even nasema sisi wenyewe wa Afrika bado tuseme mambo mengine yanakuwa, yani I would say they are still amusing us as Africans because si watu wengi waliweza kufuatilizia mambo kama haya. And the reason why even I was able to dig about historia ya Afrika, especially linguistic, ni kwa sababu kama kile kipindi ambacho nilifanya kazi na Duolingo. So that's why I came to know a lot of stuff. So they asked us, can you go and trace down like the history? Because in order to teach like the language, especially the semantic, you have to understand the culture of people, the origin of the people. And they included like a few languages like Zulu. I don't speak Zulu, but I was supporting people in Zulu when it comes to Zulu. And a little bit of, even history of the Xhosa language. So even that one was included in like Duolingo. On top of that, a little bit of history of the people of East Africa, the Swahili history, which became very interesting, not even on my side. because it gives context when it comes to linguistic context, because every culture and every other things in a language, in order to understand it, it has to, give context. Like, for example, why do people in Arizona or people in Texas or people in New York speak the way they speak? Or why do people in Florida speak the way they speak? Why do we have different accents in the US? So why do we have a different accent in Louisiana? So you find by understanding the culture of the people and the history of the people of even these states, it explains a lot. And that's why you find when you dig into that, the history, it explains a little bit about the language, the accent, the people, and it becomes very interesting. Yes. Yes.
Well.
Anyways, nafaa nianze kumalizia darasa, so natumai mmeelimishwa. So I believe that you have been educated with my whatever, whatever this was. I'm not sure even the title of this session, but.
Well, ukweli wa kuvutia.
Yes. Very interesting facts, right? Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. So, but nitasema asanteni sana. So natumai tutapatana Alhamisi. So tunaweza kuwa na my friends from the other side wakuje, lakini wale labda watajiunga na sisi, tujaribu tuone kama tunaweza soma darasa na tuseme misamiati kadhaa hapa na pale, lakini kwa leo tunajaribu tu tuone kama tunaendeleza kumboresha mazungumzo yetu ya Kiswahili. So we continue, getting our Swahili conversation much better every other Tuesday. And yeah, and a little bit of nuggets of history, like I just did, but yeah. Yes.
Well, Marina, I feel better when you speak. So next time, give me a little bit of encouragement. Sometimes I just can't do it when it's just me. So.
Yeah, so Marina, she's already speaking, so she's there in the chats, and she just said something. But yeah, so nitasema asanteni sana kwa kuja. So thank you so much for coming. And tuonane kesho kutwa. Yes.
Kesho kutwa. Okay.
Yes.
Asante, kwaherini.
Anasema samahani. So she says sorry, but it's all.
Okay. Next time.
Sawa sawa, kwaherini. Kweni na wakati mwema. Have a good